So the UAS project assignment number 3 is the project introduction. So far we've defined the project. That was assignment number 1. You guys turned in your outline, which in my opinion is where the bulk of the work for this project is structurally. And then this is the project intro. And then the 4th assignment is the project plan. Report or as a presentation. So what is the role of the project introduction? And really what I envision is the project introduction is, you know, maybe the one thing that's sort of like a writing assignment. Okay, so it's to throw the bone, I guess, you know. Well, it is very helpful to have a chunk where we can just sort of talk about what our goals are, what we're going to accomplish, how we're going to accomplish it, what we're going to do when we're done, how we're going to deliver that data, and basically what this paragraph is going to do is lay out like how we're going to define success. What do we hope to accomplish in the project? So, I say that it is the one thing that's, maybe more of a writing assignment, because really the project plan, and we'll take a look at the at this operations plan example, and you'll see that it is, written out, but all I want to do here is I want to differentiate between, so we have an operations plan, we have a project plan, you guys have this outline, which essentially should be the operations plan as part of the project plan. The outline is really over the entire project. So what is the introduction? And that should go at the front of your project. And its general purpose is just to describe the overall project. Should be suitable for anyone interested in the project to gain an understanding of the project's main undertakings. So it sounds a lot like the project plan, right? The point of the project plan is to sort of lay out all the elements of the project in a way that can be easily opened and interpreted. The operations plan is a document that you bring to the field with you, so that while during flight operations, if anyone shows up on site, they can pick up that plan, thumb through it, understand exactly what you're doing as far as flight operations. So the introduction is really just a summary of all the main components of the project plan. So if we think back to principles of the project, basically what you want to do is you could grab, make a paragraph from each of those principles and throw those together, and that's your introduction. Where I would expect the operations plan maybe is a little bit more bulkier paragraph in the mix. So the main purpose of this exercise is to draft an introduction for review. So right now what I'm looking for is you guys get this introduction out. I get a chance to look at the introduction, provide some feedback, and then that introduction is going to go on the front of your project plan. So again, you have these assignments, but hopefully everything you're doing in these assignments is just folding right into the whole assignment. All right, so the whole plan with some minor tweaks based on some guidance from my review. So the introduction is a summary of the final project, describing each of the key outline elements. So everyone is required to submit a written introduction, regardless of whether you're doing a report or presentation. I've had a little bit of confusion on that in the past, but everyone needs to turn this thing in. And I think if you're rolling 3 pages deep on this intro, you're probably writing too much. I'm constantly trying to get people to write less on these projects. It's just think quality over quantity. Um, for any flight operations, we want these things to be brief. We want them to be succinct. We want them to be easily accessible. Just think about how quickly things develop in the air as an aviator. And it's the same thing with UAS. You're operating from the ground, so you have a little bit of a buffer, but things move quickly in the air. And we want our documents, we want all the documentation that we're going to produce to follow that model. All right. So if you're writing 3 pages of text in this intro, maybe you have, you're including your map in here that's going to show where you're flying in the operations area. That's fine. Then I could see, with maps and graphics and tables, definitely you could stretch 3 pages, but by no means should your introduction be 3 pages of text. All right, the focus of the introduction should be the issue, problem statement, project objectives with the goal of demonstrating the importance of the mission and the use of UAS in accomplishing the mission goals, right? So this shouldn't sound like anything new. Everything comes out of those objectives, right? So first thing we did was set those objectives. Then we figured out what payload we were going to need, corresponding aircraft, pilots, and then the rest of that outline is like, how do we pull all these resources together and make a project work? So the focus of the intro is just to describe all those other project elements and how they're going to work to achieve our objectives of the project. And then just by providing a summary of the key areas in the outline. So I think, what I try to spend some time doing is try to pry you guys away from just the traditional, you guys are probably all thinking, I got to write a report, and I've been trying to talk you out of that for 4 or 5 weeks now. So the intro really should, this is probably the one thing that is, reportish, right? So this is the one thing that is sort of a written document, but at the same time, it should also be succinct with, relying on bullets and tables and graphics. Pictures say 1,000 words or whatever. 100% true. That's why Excel is so popular in science, because we can make cool graphics and present the information in a graphical way that's very useful.